So, good morning or afternoon. I am going to watch a few things, have my coffee and a little pastry, and we'll watch some weirdos and degenerates. So, that's what we will do. Now, this guy just got married this same day. He's got a nice bong in the background there. I think that's weed right there, which is fine because I have the oil in my hand, and that's what I meant by getting up. And really need to get down. I'm very anxious. But his wife, as you can see, her hand is right here, is next to him. But she won't stay. Let's see what part of that.
Pics, stuff like that.
Okay, how many did you send pics to her?
Okay. Perfect.
Here, but like,
All right, so we'll watch it from right here.
28, yeah.
okay.
It's 28.
And you said you're welcome, and mine is 28. Is it okay if I may claim you as my little sis? Because this is when she said I'm 11. So, I mean, what happened, man? Why did the conversation continue? What were you?
I really don't know on that.
She just kind of get carried away?
I think so.
Okay. Was she just, I mean, I know it's hard to talk about with the real here, but like, was she just a cute girl to you? Is that what it was?
Because I never had a little sister, that's why.
Okay, so it was like kind of filling a void?
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
Okay.
But on the other things, I don't know why it kept on going.
Like what other things?
I don't know why it happened, but there was other things that in that conversation, but
Like?
pics, stuff like that.
Okay, how many did you send pics to her?
Several. I lost
The
count.
wedding's getting annulled.
Okay. I mean, it started so cordial, like,
I should have just left it like that.
You shouldn't have messaged her. You shouldn't have added her. You knew nothing. You didn't know her. She wasn't you didn't have any mutual friends with her. I guarantee that.
Yeah. Now this woman's got blue hair, these weird tattoos. But they also have a Blue Lives Matter flag hanging behind Alex there.
so again, just so we clear this up, you mentioned you were from Missouri, and she said you were lying, and you said nope. And then you took a picture on Google Maps of your location, which shows you in basically northeast Kansas City. So that right there basically showed me that, okay, this is who you say you are. You're not, this isn't some hacker doing this for you. Because even, say someone did get into your account, and they could not do. That's a whole separate thing.
Yeah, you would need a VPN for that. A very good one. Paid one.
Then you said, yes, but I remember I don't have feelings for younger people like that, okay?
I'm just gonna, because it's right there.
Yeah, you're good. So I mean, what happened? It started with I don't have feelings of younger people. Then you're asking for pics of her.
I don't know what happened. I'm serious.
When did he start asking for pics? Was it around September?
Oh, yeah, late August, September.
Yeah, that's around the time I caught him cheating.
Oh.
And that was on one account. I didn't even look through the other accounts. That was on his main account.
So there's a lot of double texting going on too. Like it wasn't just she'd respond once a day, you'd respond once a day. You would kind of ping her. Then there was a couple of months where
That means that he would say hey, and then he would get no response, and then he would say hey, and then he would get no response, and then he'd be like, hey babe, and he would do that for 7 to 10 times before he gets a response. So that's what he meant by that.
I mean, all of September she didn't even talk to you, and then in October you hit her up again. I mean, like what? I get it was a, I understand the little sister void, but at some point this becomes obsessive. I think, and again, hey man, there's nothing wrong with that. I get it's internet stuff. Okay, it's not as bad as it could be. So I mean, look, bro, be frank. She already assumes the worst. Okay, understandably, So all you doing, explaining yourself, it can only make shit better. Because right now she probably wants to kill you. Okay, I wouldn't let her do that, but I mean, you know, I can't argue with those feelings that she has right now. So I mean,
He's been lying to me for months.
so look, you're quadruple texting this girl, if not, I don't even know the thing after quadruple.
Whatever.
Sextuple.
No, it's quintuple.
That was the only thought.
Yeah, I don't know the 5-1 though. Whatever.
Quintuple.
Yeah, maybe
Quintuple.
Quintuple. There you go.
Yeah.
So I mean, at that point, it's becoming like an obsession. Like that's how when I was, and I hate to use that word,
Like
when I was
the
a
video
simp,
says, Fred's
that's
wife
what I would do to
forces
girls out on
him on
text,
the day
you know?
of wedding.
Believe me, if it was
on
like
that
a,
or whatever,
say, I don't know, a fat lady who used a mobile scooter to get through Walmart, I wouldn't be texting her like that. You know that. You know what I'm getting at here, right?
Makes here. Let me
So,
rewind that because I always
Text
talk
session.
everything.
Like that's how when I was, and I hate to use that word, when I was a simp, that's what I would do to girls out. I would text. You know. Believe me, if it was like a, say, I don't know, a fat lady who used a mobile scooter to get through Walmart, I wouldn't be texting her like that. You know that. You know what I'm getting at here, right? So, did you think Emily was some type of attractive to you? Couldn't have been, maybe not because of her age, but just physically attractive to you.
No.
Okay. Did you find her emotionally attractive?
Did he say no? He said no.
That's something I don't know. I just
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to figure out if this is like a pattern or if this is a one-off.
Make the volume better on this? Nope. Sorry, I don't know how that
Some shit.
muted. I was
This is a one-off. I mean, is this just the
creating
one time you found
patterns
somebody
too.
underage
the butter,
attractive?
the bottom.
that's something I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's in a video to her.
No, that's it. You're single.
No, that's it. You're single. She said. Is that what she said? Wait. What?
We'll sort that out after
What
this.
did
Okay.
you just say?
Well, I mean, it's in a video to her.
No, that's it. You're single.
We'll sort that out after this.
That's
Okay.
what I was going to do.
We'll make sure it's sorted out. Don't worry. I can vouch for you, bro. Trust me. I've talked my way out of some shit with my girlfriend too.
Vouch for you, bro. Trust me.
You guys seen the lanyard?
It's on the bed.
Thank you.
Do a little scavenger hunt for it. Take a few hours in this house. Makes me feel good about my apartment.
I'm gonna say friendly fire.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, my apartment's a mess too.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
Probably because she's also making you feel some type of way. I don't know.
Yeah. Was it maybe just her name being Emily? You're not gonna hurt yourself, are you?
No, I'm going to my father's.
Okay. Dang. If you're sending someone with blue hair to actually go to their father, that's bad.
If they have a father.
Yeah. If you're sending daddy issues back to their father, you up. But we can address this.
Yeah, but she's allowing that
Holy
Black
shit.
Lives Matter flag to hang in there, so she.
I've never seen someone with blue hair and tattoos say I'm going to my father's house.
I didn't even think that was possible.
No.
It isn't
All
possible.
right. You can give me her number after this. I'm going to try to work it out for you guys, okay? If I can vouch for you, man, okay?
I don't know.
All right. Well,
I'll give it to you, but I don't know if she's going to be accepting at this point.
mhm.
I don't know why all this happened. It just
I mean, do you think it was because of I mean, she's out here. Do you think it was because of relationship problems?
that too.
Okay, so you're just kind of looking for an outlet.
I think. I'm not
So
sure.
what better than another Emily, right?
I didn't expect that. If that makes sense.
Expect what?
Why
Yeah,
did he
the
just
other-
get married?
Right. It just kind of came. You just kind of came across it. Okay.
I don't know. And I didn't even mean to do that. That's the problem. You didn't do all that with.
Well, I mean, you meant to do it, but I mean,
Or
I don't
not.
think you wanted it
I
to be that
didn't
way.
even mean to
I meant
do
just
it.
to keep it cordial and just, you know.
Okay. So I mean, do you think like relationship troubles pushed you into just seeking this type of stuff
It
out?
was also just mentally from trauma too. At the same time.
What trauma?
Trauma.
As a kid? Okay. Okay. So now that makes me kind of understand. So do you think maybe it was
It
Emily's
is a cycle.
innocence that brought you to it?
I don't know.
Okay. Well, I mean, look, man, at this point, you're at rock bottom, and being honest with yourself and being honest with us is just gonna make you climb up. So what do you think it was? It's something, obviously. Because I don't know, it doesn't last 7 months. You know that.
It's probably just through the, I don't know how to explain it.
Try your best, bro.
Actually,
I'm not here to oppose you, man. I'm here to get through this with you.
On a side question, if you don't mind, are you guys through a organization to help people like me that's first thing like this?
Look, I don't think you need any trouble. I think you need help.
this is what I'm
So-
going to do.
Let's get this addressed. But
I am going to switch topics to Megan Rapinoe and those itty fucking its that I don't consider them the US women's soccer team. I consider them the official communist soccer team. So they just to me they represent they represent communism. So with that being said, let's watch this.
You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no holds barred truth on sports. The main event starts now.
As you guys well know, Megan Rapinoe has been a vocal supporter of having men come over into women's sports and dominating the competition. Megan Rapinoe is all about the tees. Now, Megan Rapinoe is going to be retiring. So Megan Rapinoe actually does not have to worry about competing against biological men. Why is Megan Rapinoe all of a sudden now supporting men going over in the women's sports and identifying as women? Because Megan Rapinoe knows that the women will get crushed.
She also wants to
by
be
these
remembered
men.
as like the
It's
best,
not
or
fair.
the most.
It's absolutely not
popular
fair. Honestly,
one.
guys, I truly do believe that Megan Rapinoe also knows that it's not fair, but she cannot actually deviate from the woke narrative that there's no difference whatsoever between men and women when it comes to athletics. Even though, guys, we know that there is a bit difference. Look at swimming. Look at Leah Thomas, born Will Thomas, mediocre on the men's side, then quote unquote transitioned into a woman and wiped out the competition.
Also a member of
Ranked
Antifa.
number 1 in NCAA swimming for men. Well, guys, we actually have a former U.S. Gymnast who has come out and slammed Megan Rapinoe for her hypocrisy. Here we go, guys, on the spun. Legendary U.S. Olympic gymnast calls out Megan Rapinoe.
Why wouldn't they put her
And
name
this
in the
gymnast is
title?
Jennifer Say. Because, guys, the USWNT, they've actually competed against males. Remember, little boys. And they lost. It actually did happen. Maybe the votes out there don't want you to actually hear
Happened
that.
more than once.
But it is the truth. They lost when they actually had to play, not against men,
15
against boys.
14 and 15.
Let's read some of this. One of the most famous gymnasts in United States history has called out Megan Rapinoe. Legendary U.S. Olympian Jennifer Say is calling out Rapinoe for her opinion on transgender athletes. Rapinoe has been very supportive of transgender athletes in sports, downplaying their impact on women. Quote, this is what Megan Rapinoe said. Show me all the trans people who are nefariously taking advantage of being trans in sports, Rapinoe said. It's just not happening. Guys, it is happening. We talked about the volleyball player, male volleyball player actually injured a female volleyball player, and she's still suffering the effects of that. We already talked about Leah Thomas, born Will Thomas. How about Emily Bridges, cycling?
All the
What about
women
Austin
in
Phillips,
Connecticut,
cycling?
Connecticut,
And there is more
Connecticut,
out there as
high
well.
schools. Yeah.
I did a video a few weeks back about this South Korean transgender cyclist, biological man, went out there. He actually said he went out there to make a point that there is a difference. And what happened? He won. He said he wasn't proud of it. He didn't want to accept the award or anything like that, but he was making a point. So
That's sweet.
Megan
I like
Megan
that
Rapinoe
move.
actually says that it's just not happening. It's ridiculous. It goes on here. It says, Say, meanwhile, doesn't agree with her. Quote, I'm sorry. I have to collect myself, Say said. Quote, I guess I would ask her why the best women's soccer team in the world lost to 15-year-old high school boys. How? Why was that? How did that happen? Say said. An average high school boys team, they lost. The best women's soccer team in the world, there is an advantage. This is not trans bigotry. This is about girls and boys.
That's a great.
They lost 5-2 to 15-year-old guys. 15-year-old boys, they lost. That is embarrassing.
And this wasn't
And like
special boys
a month
team.
ago or
This was
so,
just some high school team
I believe this was actually a
in the UK. Which
it was a women's soccer team I know, and they lost to over the hill men. I'm talking about men that were like 40, 50 plus years
50s,
old, not
yeah,
competing
mid-
anymore.
50s.
12-0. 12-0.
Nothing.
Say 54 was a member of the United States Olympic team and won the all-around national championship. And that is a picture of her right there. Say continued here.
Wait, what
Quote,
did you pass by?
We
though
have
with
to
their
acknowledge
vote
that biology,
stuff like that?
testosterone,
Let me
in
go back
and of
on
itself,
and see that.
her all-around
Report
national
it.
championship.
Okay, so that's her with the vote. Anyone who wears shirts that say vote is usually a leftist. So let's see what.
And that is
says
a
right under
picture
there.
of her.
Episode 68. It says, author and former president of the Levi's brand that joins the show to discuss cancel culture, corporate America, and standing up to wokeism. Watch or listen on all platforms today. Okay, so yeah, no, she just has a shirt that says
Of her right there.
Good for her.
Say continued here. Quote, we have to acknowledge that biology, testosterone in and of itself, but also having gone through male puberty confers advantages. That's why we have separate categories of men's and women's sports. Denying that is denying reality, Say said. So I am very much in favor of protecting women's sports and giving women a fair and even playing field to compete against each other, access the educational opportunities that come from that. Rapinoe is currently playing in her final Women's World Cup. You know what? Because she probably knows that the men are coming, and she actually does not want to have to play against men. Well, shout out to Jennifer Say. Yeah, male puberty is a real thing, man. The male bone structure, that is a huge factor. I mean, if you look at the muscles of a man, men are going to be much more muscular. I mean, just taking testosterone to lower your levels down it's not going to cut it, man. It is not going to cut it. How is it, guys, that Leah/Will Thomas is ranked something like 400 competing as a man? His biological sets. and then he takes off a year to quote unquote transition into a woman,
Yeah.
jumps into the pool of women, rank number 1. How does that happen? How does that happen, Megan Rapinoe? Somebody needs to explain that to me. How does that happen? There's an advantage. And we all know there is an advantage, but Megan Rapinoe is not living in reality with this. Because she knows, man,
Decoy voice just put this up. Let's watch this. It just came out. My like worked. Yes. Okay.
Climate change activists keep wandering into traffic to cool the earth, and Europeans are finally fed up.
Nice. She threw it over the fence. That was good. Over the fence.
Especially when this wall of welfare caused a car accident involving a pregnant woman.
Sick. Wait,
So some British conservative politician replied to the video, stating they need to go after
wait. Oh, he blocked it out. Fucking knocked the guy out. Nice. Nice. Good move, bro.
So some British conservative politician replied to the video, stating they need to go after the angry driver with the full force of the law. But then the oil activist snapped at him, inferring that articles that he's written are causing the violence on the protesters. So it looks like it's open season now, as in Germany this truck driver has had enough. And after removing the activist, he gets right back under the truck, but is somehow bewildered at the idea that he got hit. So it's a common theme now, as this guy's trying to drive around the nonsense, so this vehicular vermin scoots under the car and looks so hurt when the obvious occurs, as the Germans are beginning to aggressively end these incidents.
Is he gonna show the woman, the blonde woman, who just drags the girl by the hair? Oh, there she is. Yep, coming. For that, you just grabbed her. Oh, they didn't.
And for some reason, they keep rushing back like roaches. Now, this protest actually caused a serious accident, but a German publication reported on the story that roughly translates to "Rabid Blonde faces 5 years in prison," as after the protesters glued themselves to the ground, the group began removing them from the street, where they specifically complained about the blonde woman that no one knows who she is. But the police are actually looking at the climate activists as well, and it doesn't appear any criminal proceedings have begun. Now, I understand, that's just a Google translation of a German article, but what's crazy to me is how they treat these climate activists like toddlers. Just because they throw fits and sit on the ground and pout as means to get what they want doesn't mean they should not be tried as adults, because their unemployed behaviors are actually causing car accidents and injuries to people with places to be and things to do. But hilariously, the Just Stop Oil activists are now being blocked by a new group called Just Stop Pissing People Off.
And we know that disruption is uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
So not everybody has the time to peacefully protest their protest, and not everybody wants to do time for peacefully ending their protest. But luckily, they're constantly owning themselves, as their protests pump tons of pollution into the air. Their oil traps work, and the glue they use really works.
Yeah. Oh, Scheiße. Oh no, Scheiße.
So much that they could actually lose a hand.
Warum du machen das?
I honestly hope they all lose their hands. And
So why do I cover
don't
when they
usually
stop
say things
orchestras?
like that.
So that's why they were here.
Spray down stations, and finger paint for alternative fuel.
And we're calling them out on it, unacceptable.
This is what they want, right? Me shedding awareness of their cause to millions of internet dwellers. But no, the more we see their fatherless antics, the more we don't believe in their movement. And whenever I see clips of this, I open my window and blast the AC, drive all the way home in first gear only, and order delivery from whatever restaurant uses the most styrofoam of the tuna with the most dolphin contents. Now, obviously, I'm joking, but what I'm serious about is not trusting these activists and politicians. Because as far as climate change goes, I don't know, it may very well be a huge problem. I'm not a meteorologist, but I'm also not an idiot. And anybody that wants you to give up your gas stove while they own a boat is literally just testing how dumb you are. Just look at the U.S. presidential envoy for climate, John Kerry, telling us how doom is upon us.
Literally, food production for an entire continent could implode. Last year, the Rhine River was down to inches. You're seeing glaciers that are now absolutely predictable as to when they will be completely gone. I'm an optimist. I'm genuinely an optimist about this.
But as most of these pollution politicians do, they fly private. And look at him just squirm when he needs to verify if he owns a private plane.
Lies that I hear, which is this private jet. We don't own a private jet. I don't own a private jet. I personally have never owned a private jet. And obviously, it's pretty stupid to talk about coming in a private jet.
Doesn't mean you're not
Just
flying
testified
on one.
under oath that you never owned a private jet. Never owned or
I personally.
your family?
I
By your family?
personally, yes. My wife owned a plane and sold the
You
plane.
flew on
That's
that
been, not in a number of years, but I have flown on it, sure.
Now, it's not news when a pathetic politician panics when the peasants give him even the slightest amount of pushback. But what I don't understand is people can be aware of the hypocrisy and still pledge their allegiance to the cause. Like when a congressperson claims that we just had the hottest day in 120,000 years. Several people go online to question exactly how she came up with that figure, but no, far-left social media sites like Reddit's r/World News just ran with it, giving thousands of upvotes, comments, and praise on what an emergency this is. And if anybody wants even a discussion about how maybe we don't know the exact temperatures from over 100 millenniums ago, they're immediately met with downvotes. It's almost like, hey, if we're going to enact policies that will cause mass starvation and poverty nationwide, maybe we should base those decisions on something more concrete than "we said so." But on the population concern, they're just outright saying it now.
When we invest in clean energy and electric vehicles and reduce population, more of our children can breathe clean air and drink clean water.
But when WhiteHouse.gov did their transcript of Kamala Harris's heresy, they're conveniently translating her Bidenese to English by saying she meant to say reduce pollution, not reduce population. And even if she did mean pollution, does she mean her pollution or the peasants' pollution? Because whenever they say reduce emissions, it's never promises to eliminate her motorcade, turn off the AC in her offices, or eliminating any of her life luxuries. It's always just them volunteering your efforts through force that you finance. Just look at how Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau plans on tackling the climate crisis.
What we learned from this COVID crisis, we will be applying to the climate crisis.
Which is interesting, because the New York Times just walked back a lot of their statements on the virus. How the official number of deaths was an exaggeration, and the majority of the immunocompromised didn't face additional risks. I don't know about you, but I remember when both of those facts were used against us in order to force compliance on the masses. And if you challenge any of those so-called facts, you were immediately silenced. And now they're outright admitting the tactics they used on the virus is what they'll use on the climate. It's almost like they're using the words virus and climate as synonyms for the citizens. Which reminds me of this random meme, pointing out how the people that want to take away your two-way reserve it for themselves. The people that want to eliminate emissions reserve it for themselves. And most recently, the people that wanted to take away your ability to leave your home, make a living, or even breathe fresh air reserved it for themselves. Because that's what this comes down to. It's really hard for me to believe that the bar is on fire if the guy that's shouting it's on fire just goes back into the building and orders a drink. So red pill your friends and share this video. And if you appreciate my concise, lighthearted commentary on what's really going on in the world, hopefully I've earned your subscription, then go check out the video on what happens when privileged activists collide with other privileged activists.
He is amazing. Decoy Voice is probably my favorite other than Mark Dice. I mean, no one's better than Mark Dice, so you know. All right, let's see what else I could pull up. I'll just press premium here. Rattlesnake TV is live. Should I stream snipe him? I'm not going to stream snipe him. I like him. Murderous incel. The evil incel plan to kill thousands. Yeah, this coffee house crime. I've subscribed to him. Coffee house crime, but he's a little woke douchebag named Adrian. So everyone's an incel or a right wing, extremist for him. Jason Aldean Blast. Yeah, I saw that video. I don't need to watch that. Okay, let's watch this short real quick.
I'm sorry, Paul, but I have to mention it. The weird nibbling of the baby the other day. What's up with that? You're a parent. I'm a parent. There is not a normal parent who goes over to a stranger's child and eats their upper shoulder to say hello or show affection. It's bizarre. And I realize as you get older, your behavior may change, but really what happens is you lose some inhibitions. You don't lose that many inhibitions. I've known a lot of elderly politicians. They don't behave like that. Must I point out, in his daughter's diary, which we're not allowed to discuss, why again? She says that they took inappropriate showers together when she was a child, she and Joe Biden. We don't have to look very far to see his string of inappropriate behavior with women.
Also
adult women,
his
not to
wife
mention
and his kid.
somewhat younger ones with the hair smelling. It's just...
Okay, what else we got? U.S. soccer team, watch that. Oh, it wasn't live. It's just his premiere. Okay, but still, I'm not going to stream snipe him. Benny Johnson is live right now. Hunter's Closet ally turns on Biden. Yeah. Sometimes some, busy people like Benny Johnson who are busy, they can't really make be in their little studio and make a video about something as it happens. So they, sometimes the news is old by the time they make a video. But this is interesting. Why is the BTK killer's daughter on Gilgo Beach? BTK killer's daughter on letter about Rex. I gotta see this. I mean, I know that
I want to get back into the headlines here and talk a little bit more about the Gilgo Beach murder case, but let's go a different direction here for just a second, as the man known as the BTK killer has written a letter to Fox News comparing himself to Rex Heuermann, the man charged in 3 of the Gilgo Beach murders. Dennis Rader says he was arrested at age 59, married with 2 kids, lived in a neighborhood undetected, among other similarities. Rader, known as the BTK killer, he would bind, torture, and kill his victims. He was arrested in 2005 after years of taunting investigators and the media there with messages. Rader has admitted at this point to 10 killings. Now, Carrie Rawson is Rader's daughter
if you
and
ever
an advocate for victims.
She
joins us now
on
live
camera.
to discuss more on all of this. Carrie, thank you so much
Which is
for
where this
taking the
footage is
time to
from.
join us here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. So first off, I just want to get your initial reaction when you were told or you heard that your father had written a letter to Fox News kind of comparing himself to Rex Heuermann.
It doesn't surprise me. He does this pretty often with these big high-profile arrests. He spoke up after Brian Koberger was arrested. He had to add his 2 cents. And then I'm contacted by varying outlets to comment. And so then I just have to decide if I want to comment or not. I do actually agree with my father's small profile. They were both 59. They both had wives. They both had 2 children. They both lived in the suburbs. They both maintained regular jobs. Neither of them had an arrest record. And their methods, unfortunately, of torturing and strangling women and murdering are similar of what we know right now, but I'm expecting more to come out with Rex, so that's developing.
And one question I did want to ask you, because we've seen a lot of people, the social media police who kind of show up and say the family had to know. I want to get your take on that. Obviously, you are the daughter of one of the most notorious serial killers there. And my understanding is that this is possible. This can happen, and the family really has no idea.
Oh, absolutely. In my family's case, my father was arrested in 2005 after playing games for a year with law enforcement and the FBI. He had been hiding for 31 years, right in front of everybody, same home. He worked down the hall from the actual local police. He actually had his BTK notebooks and binders locked up in his office down the hall from the local police. So it's not just that the families are missing these people. My father worked next to the police department in Park City for 14 years and nobody saw him. In my case, my father did keep evidence of his crimes underneath our floorboards. He built like a false bottom underneath a heavy drawer. Reality is nobody would have been pulling out that drawer. My father could be pretty verbally and emotionally abusive at times and controlling, so you just didn't get into his stuff. I know it's crazy, but part of the reason I'm speaking up is to speak up for families like mine and Rex Heuermann's family, because we're definitely being told by law enforcement that they were not involved at all, and that's the bottom line.
What would you say to Rex Heuermann's family right now as they are trying to process all of this? You know, his wife has filed for divorce, but again, folks on social media are essentially coming for them, though investigators have said they're not involved here. What advice do you have for them, or what would you say to them?
So we're rounding about a little over a week and a half now. So hopefully things are starting to settle for them. I would just say expect to be hunkering down for the long haul with media, manage things with a lawyer, keep doing what you're doing, which you know is working with a lawyer. The lawyer had issued a statement. Definitely get into some therapy, trauma therapy. Like if you haven't now, go get help. And ask for victim services from law enforcement. You're going to need protection as you go into court, as you navigate all the legal systems. If you need help with media, just holler at your local police department. And just hold your head high and know you didn't do anything wrong, and that a lot of us are supporting you, and we're here whenever you guys are ready to, you know, be.
And everyone here,
this club,
he lives,
this unfortunate
where I live.
club.
Yeah,
agrees
and I
with
do
what
want to get
she
your
says.
take on the Gilgo Beach killings, because we
No one
know
thinks
obviously
this
those
family had
bodies were
anything to do
found
with
more than a decade ago, and there are 11 of them that were found there on Gilgo Beach. But the arrest of Rex Heuermann made about a week and a half ago at this point. I just want to get your opinion here as you've seen the details start to unfold over the last week and a half. It seems like we're getting new details just about every day.
Oh goodness, even yesterday, you know, where you were getting news that now they're using like ground penetrating radar at his home in the backyard, and there's video of them pulling up this deck, and there's reports of like a vault that he had built. There's reports of like poured concrete. Now, was that a gun vault? Are these reports true?
It was a gun vault. They're digging his backyard up
in a
right now.
backhoe.
Yeah.
There's words that might be a soundproof room. Like, we don't even know what's going on here really at his yard or what they're going to discover. And so things I'm expecting to be watching for, maybe even this week or soon, hopefully, is him being charged with Maureen's death, the fourth woman that he hasn't been of Gilgo Beach. And then let's see what develops with the other victims on Long Island that haven't been tied to him yet. And we've got to wait and see what's coming out of his home.
And you've really made yourself an advocate for victims.
What they
here.
find
You know,
in
we've
his
talked
home
about that,
might
the
lead
fact that you
to
want to help other people.
charging
What
him with
is it
other
that makes you want to help.
bodies that were
Well, the first like 10 years of my life after my dad was arrested, I was quiet. Everybody was quiet in my family. And it was sort of like I was rotting inside, like not speaking. I was hiding. I was uncomfortable. I was ashamed of being this guy's kid. We had to manage a lot of privacy with our family. Like, we had to lock down our medical records, lock down our addresses. And so I finally just erupted in the media in 2014 because I had just had enough. And so speaking up actually helped me. And then all of a sudden people were reaching out, you know, that have criminals in the family or need to forgive somebody, or war veterans with PTSD. And so all these people were coming to me for help. And now cold cases are coming to me, and people that need help, like in a situation like mine. And so really, like, it's becoming my life's work to just live and walk this life while I try to help as many people as I can.
And I also want to get your opinion here. What would you say to those social media police, the trolls essentially that are on social media, who are coming for the family of Rex Heuermann, and I've seen comments that you've retweeted about
people
yourself.
doing
What do you
that?
say to those people?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, good
I'm
Lord.
local,
Yes,
so-
I'm over on Twitter. And I have other social media. I try to moderate, but literally I'm one person and I'm trying to moderate. Everybody is responsible for their own words and actions and choices, including me. And I try to manage my timeline to be like a safe space. And so you basically get a one warning shot. And if you come back, then you're blocked. And if you cross that line too much, you're just gone. People are just way too mean online. And if you wouldn't say it to somebody's face, don't say it
He's one of
online. That's the
those.
bottom line on any of this. It's ridiculous. And now we're seeing lawsuits come out. It's just in the true crime community just this last week with libel and slander. These massive lawsuits are being won in cases where people are just like cyber stalking and harassing. And so the reality is that this is going to keep developing because people just have absolutely lost their minds and control on social media.
And when you're talking about the case at the Gilgo Beach murders, what do you specifically think it is that has so many
Leftist
people kind of
guys.
captivated by
You can
this?
hear
And
it, right?
the same situation with the
I
BTK
blocked them
killer, your father
immediately.
there. What is it
I
that
need a
has
safe
the true
space.
crime community and folks kind of honing in on these
There's
cases?
specific words that
Well, it's just
will trigger
like
your brain.
I liken it to people wanting to get up close to the monsters but not actually be harmed by them. And so like we all engage in like horror and that sort of for entertainment, drama and adventure as entertainment. And but the reality is these are real families, and I think sometimes people forget that real families are on the line here and our lives have been completely upended. I understand like it's very hard to wrap your head around the fact that you're living next to a psychopathic monster. These people really, it's just like the whole world community is processing these insane events. And everybody's just sort of traumatized at this point by everything going on. So it's really just another level of trauma. There's certain like more ethical ways to cover it and talk about it and lessers. Again, we're all in control of our own decisions there. So it really is, to me, just getting up close to that monster and not actually like being harmed by him.
My last question for you here. I know that you have been following the latest on the Gilgo Beach killings here. Is there anything that you hope will be released by investigators anytime soon? Any questions that you have that you want the answers to?
Oh, I definitely would like to see what's going to happen with Maureen, the fourth woman, with the other three. They said that I'm hearing that there was some DNA degraded. That's what I'm hearing. So there's just some testing there with forensics and some issues with the burner phones because it was an older case. So I'm really looking forward to hearing where we're at with that. I would like them to mention the other victims on Long Island. I would like to see them come forward with information on those. Right now, it's a very active investigation, and so we have to be patient with law enforcement and be patient with the processes going on Rex's house. And as the public, too, we just need to wait and see what's going to come out of this.
All right, Carrie, thank you so much for taking the time to join us here. Is there anything else that you want to add before I let you go?
No, I just think people need to just give everybody some grace and understand this is a very difficult time for the family and for law enforcement. They really have a lot they're managing right now. And so if everyone can just kind of try to just chill and be patient with everybody else, it would be really helpful for everybody involved in this case.
And something you said that does stick with me here, a lot of people don't realize we're talking about real people. We're talking about people like you who are, a family member of someone who experienced this. So I like that you did come out and say, look, these are real people, because that is important to remember. Thank you so much for taking the time to join us here.
We didn't think they were
Thanks for having me. I
test
appreciate
dummies. Damn. Anyway. I guess I'm done here. My job is done. I got up with the duck taco. See you later.